Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud Esmond, Christian Giordani, Rocky Giordani, and Jeremy James. Bet on us to make you a better better. What? Let's get ready to steer the line.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to another segment of Steer the Line. I am Christian Giordani, and we have Mr. Rocky Giordani back. Let's give him a round of applause, everyone. Big round of applause. It's been a minute. A minute.
All those missing signs I put up finally paid off.
I'm gonna have to take the milk cartons down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Take down. Hey, listen, I had to take a long hiatus for a bunch of reasons, man. I'm so happy to be back. I'm down here in the third world country. I hope my internet holds up. But in the meantime, good to see you guys. Really awesome.
I'm just glad my intro is.
Joe Biden's turning this country into a third world country, so we'll be right there with you. Yeah, I'm in San Diego. That's what I meant.
I'm just glad my intro was valid again. That all the names of the hosts on the show are back with us here.
Yeah, I
and
appreciate
you left
that.
right when the intro got your name too.
By the way, when I watched the show, I appreciate Jared. You didn't just cut me. That was so cool. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, we don't have to wait any longer. The NFL season officially starts in 17 minutes. And what a kickoff it's about to be. The Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning champs, host the Detroit Lions, baby.
So let's get Loud to pick out of the way early.
All right, let's get Loud to pick out of the way early.
Yeah, game going to kick off. I took Detroit plus 7.5 a month ago is what the line was when the line opened. And then it went to 6.5 for a long time. Now it's Lions plus 3.5, Kansas City minus 3.5. If I was to bet the game right now, I would bet it down to Kansas City minus 3 and get rid of that hook. And I'd probably be, instead of minus 115, be at like minus 128, minus 130, because I like the Lions with a touchdown. I don't like them so much plus 3. I am not a giant fan of that. I know Kelsey is out. It's the home opener in Kansas City. It's Mahomes. I know, Kelsey was supposed to be kind of the center of the offense, but I am not terribly confident in the Lions yet. Right. You could place that bet and try to middle it, Lou. Break even or middle it and win. There's no loser there. Yeah, no, I went the other way. I've already done that. I've got the Lions plus 7.5 for more money, but then I hedged when the line went all the way down to 3.5. I bought back in on Kansas City. That's how it's done. With what could happen very much if the Lions say lose by 4, I'm going to cover both sides of that bet. They can lose by between 4 and 7, and I will win both sides of that bet. But you can't lose, because whichever bet you lose, you win the other one. So that's middle. Well, I have more on the Lions plus 7.5 than I have Kansas City minus 3. Well, I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't believe in Detroit yet. The Jared Goff Lions have been Jared Goff era Lions are like 1-9 or 1-11 in September. 1-9, I think. Yeah, they don't do very well coming out of the gate, and they got first rounders, and I know all that stuff. But Kansas City, Kelsey is 50% of their offense, no doubt, and more when Patrick Mahomes has to scramble, he's looking for Kelsey. Chris Jones, you can't replace a guy like that. So yeah, I would take the Chiefs minus 3.
So I think the first time I'm disagreeing with you guys, I got the Lions plus 3.5 this game so far.
All right, so Christian, you know what the line is on the money line for the Lions to win? It's plus 185.
Plus 185, yep.
So one other thing that I did is I took a very small amount of money compared to my other 2 bets, and I put it on the Lions plus 185, just in case they pull out the upset. I'll get the Lions plus 185 on like a $30 bet, and I have the Lions plus 7.5 for 100. I have Kansas City -3 for 50.
Yeah, well, that's a good bet right there. I still like the Lions on the spread a lot, that 3.5. You can't lose a guy like Chris Jones and expect to have a top 5 defense still. And you can't lose your number 1 offensive threat aside from Patrick Mahomes and expect to be a top 5 defense as well. Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes run that show all last season. They were the number 1 receiver tight end or receiver/tight end quarterback duo last year, and they raked up numbers. It's not going to be that kind of game with these guys. It's still going to be high scoring, which is why I like the over-under a lot on this game, the 52.5 points. It's two really high offensive teams with no defense on each side.
But they're both going to try to run the ball.
Yep, they're both going to try to run the ball, along with the quarterback scramble.
Detroit wants to run the ball. They got one of the best offensive lines in football, and they've got a decent running back. They want to run the football for a bunch of reasons. Mostly to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. And they don't want to turn into a shootout, but I'm betting you money. I'm with you, Chris. It's going to turn into a shootout. It's going to turn into a shootout. I was on the over until I heard Kelce was out for sure. Yeah, under. And now I'm on the under because they're both going to try to run the ball. They're both going to try to run the ball and keep the other team off the field. As weird as it sounds, to turn into a shootout without Kelce. As weird as it sounds, Patrick Mahomes is going to try to keep the other quarterback off the field. That's what I think is going to happen. Jeremy, get in here. Jeremy, what's up, bro? Who's going to win? Taking it all in, shaking his head. You guys are all crazy.
No, I mean, when it comes to the lines and all that, I have no idea what's going on. I think Detroit's going to pull the upset tonight off, plain and simple.
All right.
Detroit has a number of things I think Kansas City doesn't. Detroit has its number 1 pass rusher. Detroit has its number 1 offensive weapon, whereas Kansas City is missing both of those things tonight. And I think Detroit's going to have a top 5 run game this season. And I think it starts tonight. So I like Detroit to pull off the upset.
I hope All right, let's talk about some lines this weekend. I'm going to focus in on some really interesting line movement. The Cincinnati Bengals were -3 or -2.5. That line has suddenly dropped to Cincinnati -1.5 against the Browns. Rocky. Well, that's because Joe Burrow is injured. He's playing hurt. Now, a lot of people don't know if Joe Burrow's going to play. Of course he's going to play. No, he's playing. That was announced earlier today. Just catching you up from your third world country. He will play on Sunday. Their left tackle has moved to the right side of the line for the first time ever in his life. They have a porous front line. They always have had. Hang on. But the guy moved to right tackle from left tackle because they stole the all-world left tackle from Kansas City. Right. Now, so the point being, how's he going to do over there? He's never been on the right side. It's really, I'm going to imagine, not that easy of an adjustment. But the most important thing is this. If Joe Burrow isn't mobile because of his calf and starts getting hit, if he can't move around, that Cleveland pass rush is going to be tough. I still like Cincinnati in this game because I don't like Cleveland at all, ever. So I still like Cincinnati in this game, but I think it's going to be a little closer than people are imagining. Christian.
Yeah, I completely agree with that take. Browns are known for one thing, and that's their defense.
Losing.
Myles Garrett's a beat.
Browns are known for losing.
Yes,
sir.
But aside from that, Myles Garrett's a beast. They acquired Zadarius Smith in the offseason, which I'm a big fan of. And yeah, if Joe Burrow is not as mobile and elusive as he could be, as he was last season.
Whoa, hang on. Whoa, time out. When has running the ball been part of Joe Burrow's game, Jeremy?
Well, I don't think he's talking about running the ball. I think he's just talking about moving around in the pocket and being able to escape a little bit. He's had to get better. He hasn't been great, but he has to get better at it over the last few years because of how bad his offensive line has been. Right. I think they've shorted up a bit this year. Rocky's right. It may take a little while for the left tackle to pick up right tackle, but I think they've made some nice improvements, and I think they have a fairly healthy offensive line going into the season finally. I think it's going to be a closer game than a lot of people maybe expect because of Burrow, but My thing in that game is I have to see on the other side what Cleveland's going to do with their offense. How's it going to look with Deshaun Watson? Is he going to bounce back? And
that's exactly where I am. That's exactly where I am, Jeremy. Is when it was -2.5, I bet on the Bengals. When it's -1.5, I'm going to put another bet on the Bengals because until Deshaun Watson shows me he can be that guy, I don't trust the Browns. Sorry.
Yeah, I completely agree. We don't know what Deshaun Watson we're getting. Are we going to get the Deshaun Watson from last season, who obviously had some rust on him, who is still adjusting to that new offense? Or are we going to get the Deshaun Watson from the Texans days where he throw over 4,500 yards in a season? We're not going to know until after this game. And as of right now, I'm going to stick to we have the same Deshaun Watson as last season.
Yeah. Who is Deshaun Watson's number one receiver?
Amari Cooper.
Yeah. When has Amari Cooper ever made a difference in any game that mattered, in any moment that mattered? Never.
But
he's completely underperformed.
He's solid. He's solid.
Contract he ever got.
But he's still an 80 to 90 catch, 1,100 yard and 5 touchdown guy, which is, and
Jose Canseco hit 60 home runs and stole 40 bases. Who cares? He did it in every moment when it doesn't matter. Amari Cooper, in big moments, takes himself out of the game.
I like some of the weapons in Cleveland around Watson. I like his receivers. He's got a tight end who got better last year. And they've got one of the best running backs in the league. So I'm gonna reserve how that offense is going to look. The defense is going to be solid. It's going to be good, just like it has been. It got even better, I think, in the offseason. It's the offense I'm worried about.
Yeah, with the addition to the defense, they've improved greatly. And by the way, Deshaun Watson is also another running back because he can run the ball. We'll just see how it works out.
He's gonna have to show me that he's mentally back before I believe in him at all. All right, we've got the 49ers. This is an intriguing line and game to me. 49ers -2.5 at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have seen a lot of chatter that the Steelers are going to pull the upset in this game. Rocky.
Well, I don't think they're going to pull the upset in this game, especially not now that Nick Bosa is back. Way to go, Nick, by the way. I never thought he'd get that contract, but he sure did. I like Pittsburgh, and I think Pittsburgh has a really good chance to actually they could even win that division with a couple of good breaks. You know what I mean? They improved. They're looking good. Pickett looks good. He's got Pickens now. That was confusing, but that's quarterback, wide receiver. I think they're going to make a good game. But, Mike Tomlin is a great coach, no doubt about it. It's going to be a good game, but I don't think anybody beats the 49ers except for the 49ers like they did in the playoffs.
Look, my take on it. My take on it. I said it before this season started. Brock Purdy healthy, this team goes 17-0. So you're going to know my pick every week until they lose.
This team is built to go very deep in the playoffs. They're not built to lose game one.
The 49ers had the best defense in the NFL last year, and all they did was get better. Because they got that monster defensive tackle, defensive end from the Eagles.
Yes.
Who was the best?
Javon Carter, I believe.
Right, who was the best defensive player on the Eagles.
Yes.
And now he's on the 49ers. Yes. Look, I think Pittsburgh is going to be a lot better than people think. And, I know Jeremy says nobody cares about my fantasy football team, but I took George Pickens because I believe he's an emerging star in Pittsburgh. But this first game of the season, the 49ers are so good. So good. Number 1, number 3 defense, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, great offensive-minded coach. I don't see the 49ers.
And while we're here and talking about the 49ers, there is something I want to state. Their championship window is now. It was actually yesterday. It was last season, but this is why I want to get down. They have 5 players that are the number 1 played player in their position. They have 4 more players that are top 5 in their position, and another 3 that are top 10 paid in their position as well. They're going to hit the luxury cap for the next 3 seasons. This is the only year where they get that tax-free season. So it is now for them to win. They know that. They know that mindset. The front office knows that. And Kyle Shanahan, the GM for the 49ers, got very, very lucky that Brock Purdy fell into their lap with the very last pick.
Yeah,
so they know they need to win this season.
Yeah, they have a great quarterback on the cheap right now.
The cheapest player in the league, $38,000 a year.
That's amazing. Could you imagine if the cheapest player in the league won the Super Bowl as the quarterback? That would be hysterical. Jeremy, the Raiders take on the Broncos. The Broncos are -3.5. There has been a lot of negative chatter coming out of Denver. Your thoughts on this game? Who wins, who loses, and why?
Yeah, and this isn't just me being a homer. I think the Raiders are going to go into Denver and win this game. I don't know if it'll be a blowout. It's division game. It's week 1. I think the Broncos just are going to take a little more time to bring things together. New offense, new head coach. They've got some injuries at wide receiver. They're going into this game a little beat up. I need to see more out of Russell Wilson. The fact that he has a new coach doesn't make him instantly better than he was last year, kind of like Deshaun Watson. Russell Wilson was not good last year. He's going to have to show me he can bounce back before I'd have any kind of faith in the Broncos. I think the Raiders are ready to play. I think their defense is going to be surprising to some people. I don't think they're going to be top, but I think they're going to be a bit more middle of the road instead of at the bottom. And I like them to go in and win this game.
Yeah.
Rocky?
First of all, go ahead, Rocky.
Christian,
go ahead,
Rocky.
Well, listen. I don't think I'm gonna say it right now. I don't think Russell Wilson finishes the season. I think he gets benched after halfway through. You see a guy, you go, oh, he had a bad game. Oh, and then he had a good game. Russell Wilson had no good games last year. His mentality, his attitude has changed. He doesn't care anymore. He just doesn't care about football anymore. He's just playing to collect that paycheck. I don't think Sean Payton that makes that big of a difference. The Raiders are historically terrible at Mile High Stadium. They never win in Denver. But I think I like the Raiders this time in the opener. I like the Raiders. Pulling for the Raiders. I do not like anybody in Denver or anything about them. And Russell Wilson ain't crap.
I just want to point out to Rocky that the Raiders have beat the Denver Broncos 6 games in a row, including 3 straight at Mile High or in Denver over the last 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going back to when I used to follow the Raiders.
When you were on the practice squad.
When the Raiders were in LA.
Back in 1969.
Whatever, dude.
No, man.
Rocky was a young punter.
I haven't followed the Raiders at all for a decade. Easy.
No, but I
Philadelphia Eagles take on the New England Patriots. Eagles -4 at New England. Obviously, the Eagles were the Super Bowl last year. People think they had one of the best drafts of any team in the league. Mac Jones gets his offensive coordinator back that he likes. But I think this is a short price on the Eagles. I think the Eagles win this game by 7 to 10 points. Rocky.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Eagles walk all over them. And let's say something else. Since Tom Brady left, Bill Belichick has proven himself to be a 500 coach, not a very good coach. Mac Jones, it all rests on him, and I don't think I think Belichick is one of those coaches I don't think his job's on the line, but I think there's more pressure on him to win than a lot of other coaches because he hasn't proven himself to be much of a coach in the last few years. I like Philadelphia. I don't think Belichick can pull this off.
Christian.
Completely agree. Obviously, Philadelphia lost some key guys in their defense, but they rebuilt in the draft. And, Bill Belichick, his numbers are running up soon. His time's running out in New England. This is a must-win season for him, but it's not going to start in week 1. It's definitely not going to start in week 1.
The Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks clash late Sunday afternoon. It's Rams +5, Seahawks -5 in Seattle. Let me let the Rams fans talk first.
Go ahead, Christian.
Well, Rams are probably the best team coming in this season. They're probably going to go 17-0 straight to the Super Bowl. No, in all seriousness, I like Seattle a lot in this game. It's going to be real rough. Cooper Kupp looks like he's not going to play. Aaron Donald's the only highlight in our defense so far. Jacoby Durant, young guy, we spoke to him last offseason, I remember, and it looks like he's going to be the cornerback one for the secondary. But with that receiving core with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith and Jigba, they're going to run up the score on us, man. It's going to be a bad game. So yeah, Seahawks on the money line, take it.
I refuse to take the Seahawks over the Rams. I don't like them. I don't like Geno Smith. I don't like Pete Carroll. I think the Rams have a little bit of a bounce.
I don't like them, Sam.
I know. It's very scientific. It's a very scientific term. Super scientific. It doesn't. The numbers don't support. I don't like, but I think.
By the way, the Rams handed off the ball straight up the middle, first play of the game, 9 yards.
Some of us are behind. You can let us watch.
Oh, sorry.
I think the Rams core players, they're big players. Stafford, Donald, Kupp, they coach these new guys up, and I think they're going to be okay. Not great, of course, but I like the Rams to beat Seattle. And I don't like Geno Smith. He had one good year, but he had one good year before, and then followed by 8 crap years. Right. Yeah, Geno Smith ain't going to pull nothing off.
All right. My upset pick of the week. Dallas Cowboys go play the G-Men on Sunday Night Football. It is Giants +3, Dallas -3. I'm picking the Giants in the upset.
Are they playing in
Dallas is dysfunctional.
They're playing in New York.
Yeah, Dallas is dysfunctional. Dak Prescott has all the pressure in the world on him, bringing in the dysfunctional quarterback from the 49ers. I mean, it's a mess in Dallas. I like the Giants in that game. I think Waller has a big game.
I like the Giants in that game because they've improved so much. I know the Cowboys have improved, but Dak Prescott is still the quarterback. I agree, Lou. I'm taking the Giants. Go ahead.
I'm telling you right now, you heard it here first. This is Dak Prescott's last year as a Cowboy if they don't at least make it to the championship round.
Yep.
After that, it's Trey Lance's team. And I don't see it being much brighter because if you can't win that Kyle Shanahan offense with those offensive threats in San Francisco, I don't think you can win anywhere.
Yeah.
Jeremy?
Yeah, his history shows that the Giants don't have a really good shot. They haven't beat the Cowboys in the opening weekend. I don't know how many years. They're 10-0, or they're 0-10 against Dak Prescott when he's starting for the Cowboys. So but I'm gonna have to say I like the Giants as well in an upset. I think it's going to be a pretty close game, but I don't know. I think the Giants are going to surprise some people. I think both teams have a really good front four, and I think that's going to have an impact on how this game is played, is who's going to get more pressure. And I think the Giants, if that front four improves this season, it could be deadly throughout the season for them.
I think Darren Waller is going to be a huge piece for the Giants, and I was trying to draft him in my fantasy football
linebacker.
league right
they got a
before
linebacker that's going to chew him up.
Right.
I like him.
The last game of week 1, the Buffalo Bills against the, oh my God, hyped all off season. Oh, we have Aaron Rodgers. New York Jets. The line on this game is Buffalo -2.5. Rocky.
Buffalo, all the way. Aaron Rodgers got a lot of pressure on him. He looks pretty confident. He's a great quarterback. They improved, but let's just face it, man. All this talk with the Jets. Some of the Jets were wearing "We Love Mike White" T-shirts last year when they were having controversy on the quarterback position, and they've had fractures. I think all this pressure is going to fracture them even more. Everybody's looking at Aaron Rodgers Rodgers. I don't think they make it past the Bills. Maybe a different team, but not, in opening day, I don't like them. I think the Bills run over them. Run over them. Period. Oh, my pick of the week, Washington football team. There you go. Got it.
You know what? Back to the Bills and Jets. As much as I hate to agree, I do hate I think the Bills are going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout on the Bills side. It's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people are going to think. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is still adjusting to this new offense.
And here's a fascinating thing. If the Jets lose their first game, there will be panic in Gotham.
Panic. Absolutely. Everybody's loving Aaron Rodgers. If he don't win this game, nobody likes him anymore. He's in big.
No, that's New York. We hate you now.
New York. Yeah.
Jeremy?
Which game was it again?
Bills, Jets.
I like the Bills. You know, my thing with Favre with Aaron Rodgers is it's another old guy that went from the Packers and went to the Jets.
He's going to go to the Vikings next. We all know it.
That's the thing. He's older. Last year he was an average looking quarterback. He looked his age. He didn't play well.
Didn't make a playoff.
And I don't see how going to New York is going to be all that rejuvenating. He might be excited. He might have a little fire under him, but it doesn't make him a better quarterback than he was last year. So he's going to have to prove that he still has something in the tank and have this young team around him and that he can actually lead them. I think they'll be good this season. I think they'll be solid, but in week one, I got to go with Buffalo.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to this special edition episode of Sear Line. We will see you guys tomorrow, and we'll see you for the rest of the NFL season.
Go Ravens, go football.
Go Rams.